Hello, SNA fans. Sorry about that. It just cut out for a minute, but I'm back here with the second clip of the AEW Dynamite review on May 15th, 2024. And as well as saying, we on the Jericho and Hook segment, we got a Hook, Jericho showing Hook that it no longer has his name right onto the TNT Championship, and it's where he is. I was like, did you have to remind him? Like, it's obviously who won, like at that match at AEW Dynasty, but. This is where Jericho's like, all right, but I want you you to be taught a lesson, Hook. Of losing the title, you don't get to be in front of a line. You got to work your way back up again, and that's gonna start off this Saturday. You're in Collision. You're gonna be in a qualification match, and then if you can win this qualification match, then maybe and just maybe you get the chance to face me again for the FTW World Heavyweight Championship at Double or Nothing. How that sound, Hook? He's like, that sound good? Like, this is what Hook was like, yeah, that sounds great and all. Like, sounds great. Like, you know what else sounds good, Chris? And then this is where then he just whack him right in the side with the microphone he was talking off of and swing it right to the head. I was like, and fair enough with him hitting him with a baseball bat, which Jericho was sounding like Snitsky saying it's not his fault, but yet he's the one that swinged him with the bat right into the head. But anyway, this is where we got him throwing Jericho right to the upper right side, then Facebook right into the turnbuckle. But this is where we got Big Bill start hitting, swinging axe handle after axe handle until Hook didn't swing right there by like a monkey, try to go for a German suplex. But this is where we got Big Bill, then this is where the Jericho can intervene and help out his number one student, Big Bill, and hit him with a big right hand right to the forehead of Hook. This is where Jericho's like, see, like you're not listening. You need to learn. And this is where we got Big Bill to start swinging right hands right into the head and then start repeatedly hitting right to the face. And then this is where fans are like, boo, anybody help Hook? And this is where we found some Hook. And it was none other than the wrestler himself, Katsuyori Shibata. And this is where he came in. This is where Jericho walked out of the ring like if he was leaving, like if nobody wasn't scaring him out of the ring. This is where, but Big Bill was not scared of Shibata. This is where he tried to attempt to go for a clothesline, but Shibata ducked, went right to the right side, hits a big boot right into the face with a jump up right into the face of Big Bill. Like this is where and Katsuyori Shibata's like, okay, like who? And it is where then Jericho's back of his head was bleeding because he took a cut spot, like with him getting hit right in the back of the head so hard to the point that it made him cut into the red stuff. This is where then Hook was like, he was like, come back here, you dip sugar honey iced teas. And then in this where he was like, no, like I'm not talking about dipping my churro right into my sweet refreshing drink. But anyway, this is where then we got this is where then Jericho and Jericho and Big Bill's like, no, we're not getting back in the ring, but we will see you soon, and you're going to be paying the price for interfering in our business. And then this is where Shibata was like my business is whatever have something to do with Hook. It is my business, but. This is where, they walked out of this is where Jericho and Big Bill walk out there. This is where Shibata checked on Hook to see if he was doing all right. This is where then we got Swerve Strickland. Like Swerve Strickland was getting ready for his match with Brian Cage up next. This is where he was like, it was like, he was like, "What up, you people?" Like, yeah, it's me, Swerve Strickland, and while still in the local embassy, like I brought home the world championship, and I thought the boys that stabbed me in the back stabbed me right in the back this last week. Like I thought you were really like my brothers, like, but yet like you got me fooled, like y'all. I let y'all attack me with my back turned, and then the funny thing, like. When I on this last Saturday at Collision, and looking back what I did to them this past Wednesday on Collision, like I just couldn't help but notice that they bit the hand that the man's hand that fed them. Like no matter what, like and what he said. What the line was? He said yeah, like I couldn't open those. Like they bet the hand that fed them back last Wednesday, was it? Yeah, and then he added by saying he's like but and he was like, but like that's fine because I just kicked him right out the curb, like, and took him out. And now the only one person that I need to fully get rid of, like, out of the Mogul Embassy, which is now dead, and no, I'm not. There's not no references to be like Christian Cage about talking about dead family members, like, but this is like about like no longer the Mogul Embassy, and then but after I get done with them, I'm gonna set my sights on the Christian Cage now on my first pay-per-view defense for my AEW World Championship, and but we'll get to that soon though. But I like, and yeah, like, and about me getting put in the coffin in our tag team match at Wembley Stadium. And yeah, I took the fall, like my bad. But I'm gonna be the one that's gonna put you in the grave. And I was hoping that this was metaphorically speaking, because we do not want we do not know crime encounter happening in professional wrestling, even though this isn't kayfabe. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I'm starting to sound like Simon Miller now. But let's get to the point in which this is where Schwarzenegger was like, you. It was like, and y'all, and this is where he told Christian Cage, like, you're gonna be thinking to yourself, it's the final nail in the coffin, and then again, I'm gonna welcome Brian Cage into whose house it is, and then this is where fans reminded him saying Swerve's house, because he's gonna defeat one Cage to another, which you're going to see exactly why I said that as soon as I get done reviewing the match between Swerve Strickland and Brian Cage, the former allies of the Mogul Embassy. This is where we haven't seen Prince Nana in weeks. Like, even though like he's very very popular with the Swerve dance, like that he came up with along with that cowboy dance. But yeah, where have he been? Like, and if he's suffering some kind of injury, or some other reason that that's keeping him absent on AEW television, I hope for a positive return, I guess you could say. I'm not sure if the word positive was perfect a perfect word to use along with saying the word return, but yeah, I wish for him a very wished him a return like back in AEW television, because even though this is very odd for me to odd for someone like me to say this, I kind of missed him being Swerve Strickland's manager in his matches as of late. But hopefully, yeah. But I think he'll be okay. But hopefully, it will be soon when next time we see the manager of the current AEW World Champion. But let's get into the matches where we got Swerve Strickland didn't waste no time to send Brian Cage right onto the outside. This is where then he goes for a double foot stomp right into the arm that he was messing with. Like, this is where he went right to the right side. This is where he started walking around. This is where he's like, yeah, like, I'll let him know whose house it is. This is where fans start clapping for Swerve Strickland. This is where Swerve then was like, all right, like, get back to work. This is where they start messing with their arm once again and start grabbing it, twisting it, slamming it right to the Barry's tombstone in the bottom corner. This is where then he threw him right into not through more likely through his arm right into the lower right side. This is where he started pulling it and started trying to pull it out of its socket, like right onto the bottom right corner ring post, right in the inner part, like by putting his left arm right in there, trying to squeeze it out like through the ring post on his left shoulder. But luckily for Brian Cage, he didn't. Luckily for Brian Cage, Swerve didn't successfully got the task done. This is where he pulled Swerve Strickland, hit him face first right onto the rear of the ring post on the bottom right side. This is where Brian Cage rolled back in the ring. This is where then he got right back up. This is where he then walk out his arm that was getting messed up by his former mogul embassy teammate. This is where then he saw Swerve Strickland going right up on the apron and the right side. This is where he tried to grab on his head, hit a big right hand right on to Swerve. This is where then they start. And then this is where then fans start chanting, he flubbed up. And no, they did not say flub, but you get what I mean. This is where Brian Cage then like, no, I did not effed up. And this is where then he tried to pick him up, try to go for a suplex right onto Swerve Strickland. This is where Swerve Strickland was fighting out of it. Right now, at first, this is where not fighting out of it. This is where I'm not saying. I mean, but after being in position, this was where Strickland wrist locked his arm. This is where he slammed his bad left arm right onto the right corner ropes in the top rope. This is where he bounced right off of it. This is where he's like, my arm, like it's like the pain. And this is where Strickland then flipped right back in the ring, right over the top turnbuckles in the upper right side, rolled into the ring, hit a flatliner right onto Brian. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but Brian kicked out at 1.1, I believe. This is where Swerve Strickland like, I could see 2.1, but never 1.1. Like that's impossible for somebody, even for hitting a mediocre move like I just did. This was Swerve Strickland was like, oh well, like at least it's not a swerve stomp or a house call or big pressure. This is where he start using his messed up arm. Brian Cage's messed up arm is his advantage. This is where he start hammer locking it right onto his right leg. This is where he tried to go for like a sideways crossface, but this is where Brian Cage eventually got him right off of him, placed the current AEW champion right to the upper right side. Cage then start spearing the midsection of Swerve Strickland with his shoulders very hard. And this is where he tried squeezing out to make his guts explode, which I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, because it seemed like that the champ is has some guts of steel. But this is where then we got Swerve Strickland start hitting some knife edge chops running to the chest of Brian Cage. This is where it then start hitting right hands right to the head of Brian Cage repeatedly. He was like, I thought I could trust you. I thought you were my brother. I thought you were like family to me. And this is where he started squeezing his left arm. This is where he started trying to pull it off out of his socket. This is where Aubrey was like, hey, like, I know you're mad, but don't be going too far. Like, or else, he has the forfeit, even though you get the win. But this is not how you want to be known as a champion, right? And this is where she also did the 5-second warning right before she start telling Swerve Strickland all that. This is where then Swerve Strickland then and turn back around. This is where then he start heading over to Brian, try to go for the upper right to go for another corner maneuver. But this is where Brian Cage kicks him right in the gut, hits him face first right onto the turnbuckle on the upper right side. This is where Brian Cage then threw him in the diagonal corner, tried to go to the diagonal corner on the lower left side, but this is where Swerve Strickland kicked him right in the gut. This is where then Brian Cage then tried to go for a suplex. But this is where Swerve Strickland flips out of it. This is where he tried to go for a big pressure, but this is where Brian Cage then pushes him right into the lower left side with his back. This is where he started back elbow striking him right to the face. This is where Brian Cage just started mocking him, saying, like, now whose house it is now? And this is where fans were like, boo, you say it God awful. And this is where Brian Cage is like, oh, shut up. And then this is where then he goes right to the upper right side. This is where then he goes for a splash, but this is where he was too late because he gets booted right into the face by Swerve. But this is where he tried to charge right at Brian Cage, but Brian Cage picks him up right on his arms, like right in the middle of the ring with a military press. This is where then he body slammed him back first right onto the turnbuckle on the upper right side. This was Swerve Strickland that started grabbing onto his back because he hit him very hard with that maneuver. This is where he started doing more punishments, even hitting a Randy Orton-inspired back suplex right onto the bottom apron. This is where he started kneeing him in the face once he whipped him back in the ring into the upper right corner side and the bottom turnbuckle. This is where then he hit him with a slam, tried to go for a pin, but that was a dud at 2.2. This is where then he tried to go for a headlock. Swerve Strickland started hitting punches and getting himself out of the maneuver. This is where we got Swerve Strickland then was back in his game. This is where he was stalking the former FTW champion and getting his way. This is where This is where the Swerve Strickland and picks him right up, hits him with a standing brain buster right in the middle of the ring. Try to go for the cover, but he only got a 2.5 count. This is where Swerve Strickland's like, how in the hell? And then this is where Swerve Strickland was very pissed off and angry. This is where then Swerve Strickland slowly got back up. This is where then he tried to go for another move right on the Brian Cage, which I'm not sure what it was, but this is where we got Brian Cage. Then counter out of it, try to go for a gory bomb right onto Swerve Strickland. But this is where Swerve Strickland then Swerve then try to flip out of it, like or try to go for a move, like go for like a gory bomb like maneuver, but turn into like an end of the days like move. This is where we got Swerve Strickland counter out of it. This is where we got him in the cross armor, like right in the middle of the ring. This is where then Brian Cage like, no, you're not gonna make me tap. Like that's the least thing you're gonna be doing. This is where he did. That's where he picks him up right in the air by grabbing onto his left leg and his arms. This is where then he hit him with a buckle bomb right to the lower left side. This is where he picks him up right in the middle of the ring. This is where he hits him with a spinning F10 right in the middle of the canvas. This is where he thought this was it right there. If it was some kind of enhancement talent or someone in the lower middle, it probably would have. But unfortunately for Brian, this wasn't the case because Swerve Strickland got the shoulder up at 2.9. This is where Brian was like, Aubrey, like, are you sure that was a 2.999 count? And then this is where Aubrey Edwards assured him that it was indeed a 2.999 count, and there was nothing that was bringing down the former leader of the Mogul Embassy. This is where then we got Brian Cage then try to grab on the Swerve Strickland, try to go for another maneuver. Maybe I believe it was like a German suplex, but this is where it got countered into a roll-up, like a wheelbarrow roll-up, which is kind of the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling. But this is where we got a 2.4 count. This is where we got Brian Cage try to go for a discus clothesline. Swerve Strickland hit a big striking headbutt right beneath the jaw. Swerve Strickland like maybe it was a good idea to do it right beneath his jawline. This is where Swerve Strickland. But I needed to do that in order to get that ugly facial expression out of his facial. And then this is where Swerve Strickland then grab on to Brian Cage. This is where Brian Cage then try to hot shot him, but this is where Swerve Strickland countered it with a big right hand that made him fall down right onto the apron. Like luckily hang on to the bottom ropes, or else he would have fell hard onto the concrete floor. But he was in a sideways position right into the apron. I was like, man, like wrestlers do not be put in this predicament anymore in wrestling like they used to. This is where the Swerve Strickland then grab onto the ropes, hit a springboard swerve stomp right off the hardest part of the ring apron. And I was like, wow, that was very ruthless of the current AEW World Champion. This is where he gave a very evil grin. But this is where Swerve Strickland threw him right back in the ring. This is where he went for a 450 splash. But once he tried to, the referee counted the one. Aubrey Edwards, let me rephrase that. Counted the one, counted the two. But once she tried to go for three with her hand damn near touching the mat right upon it. This is where Brian Cage got the left shoulder up at the last second at 2.999999999 double triple nine. My 2.1 away, 0.1 away from being 3. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts onto this this shocking near fall. It had me fooled, like to the point that I thought this was gonna be a win, like just a random pinfall victory. But it seemed like that wasn't the case on tonight's match between Swerve and Brian. But yeah, Swerve Strickland was like, I know this is like a mediocre move that does not really put much people away, but that was like a biggest version of the 450 splash I hit on anybody. This was Swerve Strickland was like, okay, like never mind, like I'll just go for big pressure, but this is where he was unfortunately double cursed, but luckily not to the point that's gonna make him lose because like as soon as Brian Cage tried to go for a power bomb, like the try to go for his power bomb, the counter out of the maneuver. This is where he kicked out at 2.999 himself. This is where then we got Brian Cage then try to go for a power bomb again, but it wasn't a guaranteed this time because you know the rules. Like if it works the first time, it's no guaranteed the second attempt. This is where then Swerve Strickland then flips out of it into a Hurricane Rana, hits a flying forearm right to the face. And then Brian Cage is like that's all you got. This is where Swerve Strickland then hit the discus, not discus, more likely a roundhouse kick into the basement into his right leg, kicking him right into the midsection. This is where then we got Brian Cage then answer back with a super kick. This is where like once he had him turned around, this is where he tried to go for a ripcord lariat, looking like a rainmaker. But this is where Swerve Strickland elbow strike him. This is where he hits a big boot right to his face. This is where then Swerve Strickland then it hits him left and right elbows right to the face until Brian Cage shoves him right off. But this is where we got Swerve Strickland trying to go for a double fist stomp, like if it was Malachi Black, Cameron Grimes, which he's Trevor Lee now, and his former fellow WWE superstar, Kofi Kingston. He gets the double foot stomp right there, but it was like a swerve stomp. But he only got like half of it. But this is where he tried to pick him right up. This is where then, but this is where he's like, nope, not yet. I can't go for a pin just yet. This is where he look on that arm. This is where he hits his signature arm stomp, making his arm snap back. I was like, it may not look like it hurt, but at the same time, it feels like it though. Like you can hear it snapping right onto the other side. This is where Brian gets like, oh, my arm. Like I hope it's not broken. And I was thinking the same. Like let's hope it's not legitimately hurting. It's just all. This was all part of the spot, and he still has some feeling, even though it's going to be banged up, but not wish death upon any of these wrestlers because they're working their asses off by giving us fans something to be entertained about, or you give us something to watch. Like they're giving us something to watch and be entertained. Let me rephrase that. But this is where then Swerve Strickland then shouted to every fan in the arena saying whose house it is, and then everybody answered back it's Swerve's house. This is where then he was right at the bottom left side. This is where he hits him with the house call. He got the 1, 2, 3, and the winner of this match, Swerve Strickland. And I want to give a massively huge big this is where he was getting prepared to hit the concerto right onto Brian before the Titantron start counting down and start playing some music. And it was none other than the leader of the Patriarch family, Christian Cage. And I was like, you better watch out because it took him about a long minute to enter out of the ring with Shayna Wayne. I was like, yeah, like you better watch out because he could attack it from behind. Well, it wasn't Christian Cage, but as soon as this is where Christian Cage started begging Swerve Strickland not to annihilate and kill his nephew. This is where Swerve Strickland's like, too late. Like you better come out here and save him for yourself. Like, and he was like, nope. Like, well, that's on you, Uncle Christian. This is where he tried to go for the concerto right onto Brian Cage. But this is where we got Christian Cage's stepson, Nick Wayne, came out of nowhere and hit a low blow right into Swerve Strickland. This is where then he got double teamed by Kill Switch, like when he hit a big boot, like to follow things up in this brutal attack. This is where we got after they did beat him up in a 2-on-1 disadvantage. This is where we got Nick Wayne got a picture frame of Swerve Strickland and his family, which most specifically was a picture of him, his daughter, and his wife. And I was thinking like, where did they even got that from? Like, did they snuck in Swerve's locker room when he was wrestling Brian Cage earlier? Like what a couple of creeps. But anyways, this is where the Christian Cage then This is where then Christian Cage and his foot right down the ramp, like when he was on his way to the ring. But this is where he stopped for a minute because Nick Wayne then grabbed onto the picture frame of and the picture of him and his family. While what's his name? What's his name? What's that like a picture frame? That's where Kill Switch then was holding on to Swerve Strickland. This is where Nick Wayne was like, this is your family, huh? Like this isn't this where Swerve Strickland's like please just let me go already. Like just get it over with. This is where then Nick Wayne's like, okay, like I'll gladly will. And this is where he hits. It's where he hits him with the glass picture frame, knocked him out right into the right side of his face, to the point it made his head cut open right into the right side, like in the side of his eye. Like the right side of his eyelid was cut right open, and this is where he was leaking the red stuff out of his head. And then this is where the commentators, including Excalibur, is like, oh, this is very dangerous. And then this is where Christian. Yeah, this is where the Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus was choking Swerve Strickland right into the left corner of the ropes, right in the ring. This is where we got Christian Cage was like, you embarrassed my son Nick Wayne, like when you attacked him at his gym and his home right down the street here in Everest, Washington last year in 2023. And this is where fans start. And then this is where the fans are like now, like that was horrible at that time, but at the same time, like looking at it right now, like he deserved every single thing, like of being humiliated and beat up in his own home in his backyard ring. But anyway, this is where then we got Christian Cage like, and now and the force to be now we're going to be embarrassing you now, like and we're going to be doing that by rubbing your portrait or family portrait in your face, and the rubbing and rubbing about your daughter and her being proud of you, like, and do you think she's very proud of you, Swerve? Like it is this. Like, maybe we should ask her, Swerve, like, maybe we can invite her on the next AEW Dynamite. Like, how about, like, we'll ask your daughter, like, about her absentee father. And this is where then he start rubbing the picture right into Swerve's face. And this is where he starts squeezing it, like if he was using a washcloth to wash off his blood-stained face. This is where Christian Cage started acting like his former colleague of WWE, the final boss, The Rock, by saying, I take your blood, Swerve, and then this is where he's like, into 2 weeks at Double or Nothing, I take your world heavyweight champion as well. And then this is where Swerve Strickland's like, oh yeah. You will get a taste of my championship over my dead body. Like, and that's the only way you're gonna win. And this is where he's like, okay, then if that has to be, like, so be it. That's what Christian Cage was like, while still holding on to the picture of him and his family, including with his daughter in the middle. But what's your thoughts onto this post-match beatdown by the patriarch, like most specifically Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus doing the beating onto Swerve? Let me know, down in the comment section right down below. And and some of y'all don't know this, like Brian Cage is actually Christian Cage's illegitimate nephew. And he just saved his life from being killed by his former Mogul Embassy tag partner. Just don't tell nobody this secret. Just keep it between you and me, okay, SNA fans? But anyways, this is where we got the next slide. This is where then we got, I believe, Timeless Tony Storm against Harley Cameron. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the next match. Or before I get into that, this is where we got Hook and Kazuchika Shibata next. This is where he was getting prepared for his contenders match this Saturday at AEW Collision in order to become FTW champion and be the first ever wrestler to become a 3-time champion of that lineage. This is this is where then Renee Paquette's like, but now you knowing that you have this qualifier match going on, does it feel like the numbers game is coming to 2 stacks against you, Hook? Like that's what Renee asked Hook. He was like, even this is where Hook was like, nah, not exactly. Like all I need to do is to put my hands on Jericho and beat the hell out of him, and then this is where then Renee Paquette's like, okay, that's absolutely understanding. Like, and this is where then Katsuyori Shiba's like, no, wait, like. I got something to say about Jericho too. Like, let me translate it on my phone. This is where then he translate what he said and said. This is where he's like even me, a Hook, and this is where the Hook was like, what do you mean by that, bro? And then this is where Katsuyori Shibata then translate like he wants a shot at Chris Jericho too. And then this is where Hook was like, okay, like push comes to shove, like Katsuyori Shibata, you can have like you can get your hands on Jericho as much as you want, but I just need to get my hands on him first, and then you can go at it, like buddy. And this is where Samoa Joe was laughing right behind Hook. He was like, ha, 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 ha. Like you couldn't be not more serious than you cannot be serious right now. Like really, Hook, like. I know you've been serious like your whole entire career here in AEW, but this is the first time I heard you said the most hilarious joke in your entire life. And then this is where he's like, like you're something special. And then this is where he went back to seriousness of the Samoan submission machine. He's like, yeah, you got something, man, like you. And he was like, and yeah, you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, like if you're Britney Spears. And also, yeah, except for doing it to me, but now you got Chris Jericho, like that you had to worry about, and then now you got your little brother here, like in the middle of it. And that's very sad. Like, and maybe y'all should be spending a little less time playing with yourself, and maybe like spend a little more time actually training and getting into action. Maybe y'all be the dangerous duo like around here in AEW. And this is where he walk out of the booth. This is where then Hook was like, yeah, but I could beat you. Like I can beat you and I can fight you. And I was like unfortunately the last time you fought him, Hook, is when you lost to him in that AEW World Championship when he was still that championship and you were the FTW championship back in January, was it, of this year, the beginning of this year. I'm not trying to bring nothing negative about the past, and that may not occur now. Like we could see a totally different Hook from then, even though that was 4 months ago. But you never know. Like it could change just like a snap of a finger. Just believe in it. And you'll just believe in it, and then you will see the differences. But anyways, this is where then we got Katsuyori Shibata hilariously said this about Samoa Joe, saying he's like he's too large to wear a floral pattern, and this is where I'll start dying with laughter. I nearly fell right into the ground after Katsuyori Shibata translate that on his translator. Like when and this is where Renee Paquette was. Then gave a big smile saying like, yep, that's absolutely true. And then this is where, yeah, we do get Thomas Tony Storm taking on Harley Cameron. And I was like, not the best match of the night, on my opinion, but at the same time, it still was a pretty good contest. It was nothing but a grudge match. And the title was not on the line, but it didn't seem like it was a squash match because Harley Cameron showed that she's more than just Soraya's assistant of the Outcast. But yeah, we're going to get to that here very shortly. See, this is where Harley Cameron didn't waste no time. She put Thomas Tony Storm in a headlock, slammed her right into the ground. This is where then she tried to choke her out, but this is where Thomas Tony Storm put her legs wrapped around Harley Cameron's head, like into a flying head, like a head and leg scissor, I guess you could say, like maneuver. This is where then we got Harley Cameron flips right out of it. This is where she tried to go for a headlock. This is where then we got Thomas Tony Storm then counter out of it, then hit a headlock right onto her. This is where we got Harley Cameron then try to Irish whip her right to the bottom, and then the right. Well, she had some trouble of doing it into the bottom, so she like spin her around and finally got free from the timeless one, threw her right to the right side, but she gets instantly shoulder tackled right by the actress gimmicked wrestler. This is where then we got Thomas Tony Storm then hits a headlock slam right on the Harley Cameron, gave her just desserts, I suppose, by hitting her with that headlock slam. This is where we got Harley Cameron to try to flip right out of it, trying to go for a head scissor counter, but this is where nothing wasn't working. That's where then we got Harley Cameron knee Thomas Tony Storm right in the midsection. She did it about 4 more times until she tried to Irish whip her right to the right side, but this is where Thomas Tony Storm threw her instead. This is where then she ran right through there. This is where we got Thomas Tony Storm try to go for a clothesline, but this is where Harley Cameron ducks out of it again, went to the left side, but this is where she gets Luthez pressed on by the current AEW Women's World Champion. This is where then Thomas Tony Storm was you're not gonna be bullying or humiliating or embarrassing my protege ever again. If you do so, I am going to take your head out with my bum right into your head, knocking you out, like I'm about to do right now. That's what she did. So she hit a running hip attack right into the back of the head of Harley Cameron. But this is where she got distracted and she took her eyes right off of Harley Cameron, which that was not the smartest idea from the timeless one, because once she did so, she saw Serena Deeb right into the stage because she just got there with her dojo flag. This is where she was like the professor has arrived, and this is where Tom starts and this is where she didn't try to charge right at her, but this is where she got attacked from behind by Harley Cameron. She got hit face first right into Simba the Steel Steps on the upper left side. This is where then she hit her face first right into the left corner apron. This is where this is where she threw her right back in the ring, doing more of her punishments right onto the timeless one and current AEW Women's World Champion. This is where then we got both women knock each other out, both women on the ground. What the referee was doing is 10-second warning count to get back up, or else it will end in a double count out draw. But this is where we got Thomas Tony Storm. Then he got back up, hit the DDT right onto the Harley Cameron. This is where she goes for a Fisherwoman's Buster right in the middle of, or probably in the upper side of the ring. But this is where we got Harley Cameron kicks out at 2.7. This is where Thomas Tony Storm's really? This is where then she goes right up, spins around a little. This is where then she try to go I believe trying to Irish whip Harley Cameron right to the left side, but this is where we got Harley Cameron counters it into a running Shining Wizard knee strike, which I believe that's her finishing maneuver. But this is where once you try to go for a pinfall, this is where Thomas Tony Storm kicks out at 2 even right away, right after the referee counted to 2. This is where Harley Cameron started chuckling and laughing like if she was a different crazy Harley that's very similar to her in a way, but it seemed like even for that Harley being crazy, like Harley Cameron beats her as the most psychotic one, in the world of entertainment, in the Warner Bros. Kind of entertainment, I guess you could say. But this is where then we got Harley Cameron and ran right to the left corner side rope. This is where then she tried to go for another Shiniest Wizard knee strike right to the face, but it seemed like it wasn't a guarantee because we got Thomas Tony Storm grab her around the neck and hit her with a double clawed spine buster right into the sit out double claw spine buster sky high, right, about 6 feet in the air. This is where they try to go for a pin, but this is where the referee only counted 2, and then it was right afterwards. Harley Cameron kicks out at 2.1. This is where then Thomas Tony Storm they try to go for a Storm Zero, but you know the rules in professional wrestling. If it doesn't work the first time, it's going to be a guaranteed the second attempt. This is where Harley Cameron tried to grab onto her legs. This is where she grabbed him, put it around her head. But this is where Thomas Tony Storm kicked out at 2. This is where then she and go for a sit-out pin, but this is where she only got a 2 even count. This is where then Harley Cameron tried to go for a roll-up pin, but she only got a 2 count. This is where then Toni Storm flips her right out of it. This is where then she got got 2 even. This is where we got the referee count to 2, but only got a 2.3 this time. This is where then Harley Cameron to go for a roundhouse kick right into the left side of the head of time was Toni Storm. But this is where Toni Storm then ducks right out of the way. This is where she balls out her fist and try to strike her with her right hand. But this is where then we got Harley Cameron then ducks and back down. So like, no, not the face, anywhere but the face. This is where Toni Storm's like, as you wish, my darling. And then this is where then she hits her with the Storm Zero. Like I said, like it was a guaranteed the second attempt, but the first attempt was an unfortunate spot. But this is where Toni Storm hits the Storm Zero. She got the 1, 2, 3, and then she rubbed in that she beaten Harley Cameron right into Serena Deeb's face. This is where Serena Deeb's like, congratulations. Yeah, this is gonna be this is the only win that you're gonna be getting. Because in 11 days, like you're gonna be called meat champion, and you're just and you're gonna have no choice but to call me your professor of this division. But let me know in the comments down below who's going to win that match. But anyway, I will give this match the 4th best match of the night. And I want to give a big congratulations to the Timeless One on that very amazing performance. Unfortunately, it didn't get number 1, but at this time, it doesn't need to. It was just as good as the other 3 matches that were on the card for AEW Dynamite tonight. But let's this is where then we got a backstage interview face-to-face with Will Ospreay and the reigning defending AEW International Champion Roderick Strong and his Undisputed Kingdom boys, except for Adam Cole. This is where then we got this is where then the new journalist, the reporter lady was like y'all promised that there's going to be no physicality in this face-to-face interview. And I'm here with the internet. This is what she told the camera, that she's with the current international champion, Roderick Strong, and the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom, and his future opponent at AEW Double or Nothing, Will Ospreay. Which is also the man that's going to be challenging him at Double or Nothing. And then this is where she started off with the interview with Will Ospreay. So and she was like, yeah, there's no, and you're no stranger when it comes to winning championships in your career. But how does this feels different this time? And then this is where then he was like normally there wouldn't be not much difference when it comes even for this gives this sour taste in my mouth. And then this is especially after last week, when Shane Taylor did that work of a dishonest deed, and then with him not being the only guy that stands over my dead body, but you 3 guys did it right after he just did that to me. And then this is where he was like, and y'all made me look. And he was like, and yeah, y'all treated me like if I'm just a small mice, and y'all were the hungry cats to feast off for my dead body. And then this is where he's like, and y'all were some, and Roddy, your boys are some big idiotic Berlins, or what do you call them? Berlins? I don't know what exactly was pronounced. But I think it's some kind of a fancy, some kind of a fancy European word. But anyway, this is where he called them some idiotic Bellins. But this is where he's gonna call them and then this is where it's and there's only 2 reasons why you can be comfortable, right, as the international champion. Number 1, because 1, I'm not allowed to put my hands around my throat, or else I'll put my chances of becoming AEW International Championship in jeopardy. And 2, maybe it's because I retired the Tiger Driver 91, because I don't want you to have some neck problems, because I nearly end my last opponent and my last pay-per-view and my last pay-per-view opponent with that move, and I don't want to do it to you next. So and I'm a fair guy, and I want to make sure when I defeat you at AEW, I want to make sure that you're okay 100%. But and this is where he was like, and I don't know what kind of mind games are you playing, sir? But like, uh, I thinking that you have the better moves, and I want to ask you this question, Mr. Strong. Why are you playing these? Why are you playing these useless mind games? And you know what it feels like to be dropping your head with that power going up to your arm, and then you. And I did that move to people that I love and respect, and then I'll do it to any move, to anybody that I love or hate, much more than Randy Orton, RKO's people. I can do it to, I can even do it to your mother without even giving no cares about it. Well, I'm not sure if I should, I'm not sure if I should even get Roddy's mother involved into this. Maybe I should pick somebody else in the family of the current international champion. But yeah, let's move on to what else will Ospreay say. This is where he told him that he does not respect Roderick Strong, and not because that he's very talented, and that he was like that's the whole reason why you're the international championship. Because you never respected me. Whether if we were in PWG Pro or Ring of Honor or the Southside Wrestling, you always look down on my performance, and you always despise me. And I want to see why do you do and you have nothing but disrespect for me. And this is where I'm going to become I'm becoming for you in next Sunday, Rod. And then this is where Roderick Strong's that's the smartest thing that you could ever say right now. And you're right. I don't have respect for you, and I never had. It's the fact that you were so talented, in that ring, but you're such a complete idiot outside of the ring. I believe he was referencing his autism. I guess you could call. I guess you could say, because that's what normally people with autistic that are autistic or has autism, whatever the way I put it, usually be known as is idiots, less smart people, and etc. Which I was thinking to myself, just because if a person is autistic doesn't mean they're not smart or nowhere near being geniuses. But yeah, they're that's because just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. They're just smart in their own way. They're completely intelligent in their own terms. But anyways, this is where then we got Roderick Strong that said, you you got a missus, you got a child, and you're just misresponsible, man. Well, you're still the little child that you always been and you always will be. And you don't deserve a shot at my international championship. And this is where Will Ospreay's oh, really? You don't think I deserve? Prove it. And then luckily they were doing everything but getting physical, because if they did one sudden move, then their match at AEW Double Nothing will be canceled by the Boss Man. But yeah, luckily they just let their voices start fighting each other. But this is where when Roderick Strong's all right, I got something to say, and then and I'm gonna tell you what I overcame back in my life, and then that neck injury that almost took me out and ended my career. I don't quit, and that's one thing. And then everything that I had, and everything that I will get, it will be worked for, and then that's been worked for a day, and I did it day in and day out, and I'm always gonna be doing that, and I don't. Again, I don't think, I don't care what everybody else thinks of you, and I don't care, let alone who you are. And then what I think you are is a total fraud, and you're just nothing but a child, because you do not have no knowledge in your brain at all, and that Double or Nothing. I am going to educate you, and I am going to show you that you should never mess with the leader of Next Strong, or whatever he said into this promo. This is where I was you. He's and you can say all that, but I'm gonna make you pay for all those humiliations which you put me through in our days in the independent scene and other pro wrestling promotions that we wrestled in at the same time. And he's like, and I'm gonna do all that by taking that one thing that you treasure the most here, and that's your international championship. And I'm gonna remind you, and I'm gonna do it by reminding you that I am the best and the greatest wrestler in this green earth right now. And I am the best wrestler of all time. And now Sunday it's gonna be. And he was like, and a week from the Sunday, you're gonna see exactly why they call me the best, and I am Will freaking Ospreay. And I am on a whole different another level. And then this is where then they start staring at each other, not saying nothing. This is where they start this is where then Will Ospreay's like, do you have something to say for yourself? And this is where then Roddy Strong's like, no, but what about you? And they're like, nope. And then they start saying, like, okay, then. And this is where they walked off. This is where then we got Renee Paquette in the ring with a contract signing table. This is where then she announced the participants in their respective match, their respective championship match, from one AEW championship double or nothing match from another hype up. We got the contract signing segment, which we saw the CEO Mercedes Moné and the current TBS Women's Champion Willow Nightingale. This is where they were in the ring. This is where we got. This is where then we got Willow Nightingale started the promo, or the segment, I should say, with her saying before I signed this contract, well, Miss CEO, this is where she was and right before I signed this, I want to let you know that I'm gonna show you that I can truly beat you and you cannot beat me at all, or something like that. Yeah. This is where we got Will. Oh, yeah. We also saw Willow Nightingale told Chris Statlander that she don't need their help when she was heading out to the ring. With Chris Statlander was like, come on, Stokely. And this is where Stokely why? And then this is where Chris Statlander explained that Willow Nightingale do not want them in ringside with them just to make this a fair fight with the CEO herself. But this is where, This is where Willow then added onto her promo, as I was saying before I got interrupted by myself. This is where she was like, I gotta give you some respect though. You did every single thing that you said you were gonna do in your career. But I need to know, Mercedes, do you respect this right here? Which is the TBS championship, and even if you did have at least a percent of winning it, do you have any respect, any dignity, any honor to hold on to this championship and call yourself the face of TBS? And then this is where Mercedes. And this is where, Willow the Pillow Nightingale the Night Terror was like this right here is the TBS championship. And then this is where the Mercedes Moné look at her I don't know, what else could it possibly be? This is where Willow Nightingale was like, this is exactly a championship that this celebrates the legacy of professional wrestling, a legacy that dates back over 50 years on this very channel of TBS. And then this is where fans absolutely, and then they're clapping woohoo. And this is where then Willow did say and I'm gonna let you know that I'm gonna be fighting in dedication in that by defending and making a name for yourself and to face the obstacles and then that is every woman that held this title. That's what this championship represents, and that's why when my best friend Chris Statlander put this championship right on the map after defeating that one girl that's over on the other company that the CEO used to wrestle for now. But that was and now you see me as the face of TBS, and this is where then she was and yep, that's the end of my line. And this is where then And this is where Willow the Pillow Nightingale the Night Terror was like in this smiley face right here, every time a smiley face just walks down into the ring, you see in my Titantron, like nothing matters, like smiling about it, and then to me, like that means throughout on the doing, like I want to look at the smile for, and the smile is like strength. Like in the professional wrestling, it's just that, like right there. Like in this very title that's beside me is what matters to me the most. And then this is where then she, I believe, finished off again. Hopefully, hopefully I don't make this mistake again. But this is where she was like, again, for that I am not going to let you just walk in, taking the AEW and take that away from me. Not now, not ever, not at. Or yeah, she said, not now, not at Double or Nothing, not never, ever. You're gonna be doing that to me, anytime, any place, anywhere, like sooner or later. And then this is where, then she signed a contract finally, like right after she gave her a little message, but until she gave the pen and the pen and the paper with the little folder. This is where like she. This is where then the CEO received it. And this is where half of the fans were chanting for Willow and not Pillow, of course. But this is where then the CEO, Mercedes Moné, then shouted to the crowd saying, Everett, hell, everybody in Everett. And then this is where fans like, yeah, like, see, and then they came from saying Willow, the CEO. This is where she was like, say hello to your CEO. And then this is where then, and she was like, and now Willow, like, and like, and she was like, I want to tell you a story back from 9 years ago, back in 2015, when you were just getting started in the industry. I was already in it and selling out tickets in Brooklyn, New York, at the other company's network for a championship that's just as prestigious as the both TBS and the AEW Women's Champion combined. And I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, that's true. Like because like yeah, she did like main event that night back in 2015 in Brooklyn, New York. We already know what company she's referring to, not to mention the brand that she was on. And guess who was the challenger of that night? Yep, you guessed it, the current WWE Women's Champion. But anyways, we're going to get to that in another time. But this is where then the CEO then continues to say, this is where she was like, I was knocking down all the doors, and I knocked down grass listening. Well, that's what I did Willow. And then this is where then she continues saying, you want to be here, you wouldn't be here without me. And I was thinking like maybe true in some hands, with what like, well, I'll say she's kind of the reason like why like she was NJPW Women's Strong Champion, because it seemed like that like if Mercedes Moné didn't got injured on that night, like she would have won the Strong Women's Championship. Maybe, I'm not sure about that. Like obviously, I didn't really watch the full match. I only watched part of the highlight clips. But you never know. I don't know. Like, but yeah. But anyway, this is where then Mercedes Moné was like, well, but at the same time, I think Willow Nightingale already made a name for herself in AEW or any place in professional wrestling, right before and after she faced the CEO, on my opinion, of course. But anyways, this is where then she admitted that she respect the hell out of Willow Nightingale. This is where she was like, I really do. Like, despite taking away from she was like, and you're a great champion, but the difference is, like, honey, is the between being great and being the greatest of all time, like me. And then this is where she got a mixed reaction. Some cheered, some booed. But this is where then Will Nightingale hilariously bulged her lips out like if she was like a female light-skinned Jay-Z. Hope I didn't offend nobody. But anyway, this is where then we got the CEO saying, like, you're looking at the future face of TBS, and you should and you should be looking at the new face of TBS. This is where she spinned around right in front of Willow the Pillow Nightingale, the Night Terror's face. This is where then Willow Nightingale was getting fed up of hearing her mouth. This is where then we got this is where then Mercedes Moné then continues saying, like, yeah, that's right. Like, you see me in the red carpet of the movie premiere of the Planet of the Apes, the new Planet of the Apes movie, and also did the first pitch on the Boston Red Sox game, and right this past Saturday, I believe, yeah, and then the Friday before, or I think it was the Friday before then, and the Friday before that, like, she was in attendance at the Boston Celtics game, and she was like, and the reason why I did all that is because that's what a CEO does. And then this is where then she asked Willow Nightingale what the hell happened to her, because her legacy is all about winning the championship, winning especially the championship. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, this is where then she finally signed her name right onto the dotted line. This is where then Willow Nightingale was like, okay, you keep believing that, because the last time we wrestled, I walked out as champion while you didn't walk at all. You got carried out of the arena, and you weren't be able to walk on your own until you came here. And then this is where she started laughing. After she said that's where fans are, ooh, and then this is where then Mercedes then slapped Willow right across her face. This is where then she grabbed onto the AEW TBS championship. And this is gonna be me in 11 days from now. This is where Willow Nightingale got very angry and turned into the Night Terror side of herself, kicks her right into the gut, picks her up into a Dr. Bomb and slammed her right into the table. I was like, wow, dang, yeah, you do not want to mess with Willow Nightingale when she's angry. But at the same time, you do not want to mess with the CEO when she's angry as well. Well, I should say the same with Chris Statlander as well, because I should know, because I got powerbombed by the residential alien. Just like how Willow hit the Dr. Bomb right onto Mercedes, right to the table, like on at Fight Forever, when I was playing Fight Forever on the game, with Chris Statlander powerbombing me right into the autograph signing table, I believe, when we were in the mixed tag team feud, of course. But enough about that. This is where we got Willow Nightingale then stand up tall. This is where then we got This is where she was like, yeah, I guess it's gonna be my moment, Monet. And what you're gonna be doing right after I beat you for the second straight time and the second straight year in a row. And that's when the security had to pick up Mercedes off the table because she got slammed right into the autograph signing table. This is where this is where we move on to the main event match of the night. But before I get into that, I want to ask, like everything else, I want to ask, who's going to walk out as TBS champion? It's a tough decision. I'll say Willow the Pillow Nightingale, the Night Terror, because she just won the championship, and she needs a win, just to prove that she can beat Mercedes Moné, even when somebody doesn't get injured. Yeah, whether if it's her or the CEO herself or anybody in the match involved, she needs to prove that she can beat her with no injuries occurring during the match, like last year in New Japan. But also at the same time, there's another side of me saying that Mercedes Moné needs to beat Willow Nightingale to get some redemption from last year for not winning the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, and also doing that by defeating her for another championship with a totally different company, even though it's the company that New Japan's partnering with. And that but this can go either way. But I'm gonna let you speculate in the comments down below on what's your opinions on who could win this AEW Women's TBS Championship. But let's move on to the next slide. But yeah, let's move on to the next slide. This is where we got main event match, which is the match which this match definitely delivered and stole the show. they finally got Dax Harwood gets a singles push with him fighting the Rainmakers Kazuchika Okada for the new I'd say New Japan continent. I mean the All Elite Wrestling Continental Championship. And I'll say hopefully Dax Harwood gets plenty more championship singles championship opportunities, whether if he wins them or not. Like hopefully that's gonna be plenty more where that came from, and this is not gonna be just a one-off. But let me know in the comments below if you think so or not. But this is where we got but yeah, this is where it started off with. It started off with, I believe, Dax Harwood wasting no time. He just charged right up to Kazuchika Okada, getting into the technical mood. But this is where we got Kazuchika Okada then countered him, try to go for a hit scissor lock. But this is where Dax Harwood countered out of it. This is where he's like, oh, you think you're going to take me down that easily? This is where Dax Harwood's like, I may have been down, but that doesn't mean I'm out of the match. And this is where then they start spinning around until one of them then started the grappling war, which it was won by Uncle Dax Harwood. This is where he's going for a headlock, but this is where he bounced off right into the top corner ropes, pushes him right back down, right into the bottom ropes. This is where he hits a shoulder tackle right onto to Dax Harwood. This is where it's a slide duck. This is where then Kazuchika Okada didn't try to hit the big boot, but this is where Dax Harwood then hits his former WWE colleague Xavier Woods maneuver by going for a sliding dodge right between his opponent's leg. But he kind of botched it, but at the same time he successfully did pull the move off. But this is where then we got Kazuchika Okada then try to charge at him, but he did not know what move to do, which that was a ginormous mistake. This is where then Dax Harwood hit his idol's finishing maneuver, the sharpshooter, right onto Okada. This is where then we got Okada rolling out of the ring. This is where he's like, nope, not today. And this is where Dax Harwood's like, yes, it will be today. And